Hello, everybody, and welcome back to day 113 of the road to 2K on chess.com. Today, we are currently sitting at 1915 after taking a tough loss yesterday. So let's go ahead and jump on in and see if we can't correct the ship. Now, as the game is going along, if you guys have any comments for how I played, leave it on down below. If you guys enjoy the video, make sure to hit the like button. And then finally, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and that just helps you make sure you don't miss any of my future content. So on today's board, we have a 1937 from the Philippines. We have a Vienna game, and hopefully we get a copycat with bishop to c5. We've seen knight to f6 a lot. We've seen d6 once or twice. There's a lot of variations in the Vienna game. So our opponent does go for knight to f6. So what I like to do here is I play d3. Now knight back is immediately a weird move. When I see this, I kind of abandon the opening, and I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter as much. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to play knight to f3, going after this pawn. Our opponent goes ahead and plays knight to g6. And I think it makes sense here just to go ahead and castle. Because this is a little bit of an atypical setup, and our opponent had to take an extra tempo to get here. So h6 is on the board. What I like here is I think developing our bishop to e3 stops our opponent from developing to c5. And we can potentially look for a d4 push, trying to break open the center of the board because our opponent has not gotten their king out of the center. Now, if I play d4 here and our opponent plays d5, we do have d takes e, but after knight takes, bishop takes, or pawn takes. Then we have to try and figure something out. Maybe we have queen takes there, forcing everything off the board. And then we're playing an endgame up a pawn. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to strike back in the center with d4. They could potentially take, which they do. And what I kind of want to do here is play the move queen to d4. And potentially try and break into the position with e5. e5 would force the knight away because they don't really have knight takes there. So without seeing an immediate threat to it, I'm going to play queen captures d4. All of our pieces are in the center. In here, these are options. Maybe I play h3 first, so then I can successfully make this push. I do also really want to play bishop check, but after king takes, I don't think I have a very sound follow-up here. But let's break in the center. Let's play e5. Our king is out on the side. Opponent pushes back with c5. And what's interesting to me about this position is if I play pawn takes pawn, and our opponent takes our queen, and we take here, and the rook comes over, I don't think we have another tactic to hold on to everything. So I may just have to take this moment and admit I don't have a follow-up. So I'm going to play queen to d3, asking the knight to move somewhere else. That's a little bit uncomfortable, but generally not hating that I pushed e5. So knight to g4 comes in, attacks the bishop. What I could do here is I could play knight in, and if takes, probably queen takes. But I don't know. A few options here. Let's go ahead. Let's play our knight in knight to d5. If our opponent takes our bishop, we'll take back with the queen. It does run into bishop to g5, but there's nothing behind it. So queen captures e3, and our opponent castles. Now castling I didn't fully expect. I could take, and after queen takes, I can't win the pawn back yet. I could develop, but I think this knight is much stronger than this bishop currently is. So let's play rook a to d1. There's no easy way to attack this knight. If the opponent moves here, I do have pawn takes, or knight takes bishop. And there might be ideas here. I'm actually seeing a really fun idea. Is my next move, I'm going to play queen to d3. And the idea of queen to d3 is I want to take here. But I guess if knight takes bishop, then our tactic doesn't work. So maybe I play knight captures bishop, queen captures, and then I slide over. But then that hangs this. So if that's the case, let's play rook f to e1. I'm expecting bishop to b7, which does find itself on the board. Let's go knight captures e7, trying to prompt queen takes. I'm going to slide my queen over to d3. And yes, they could take. But this bishop is better than this knight. But my threat is actually queen captures knight. Not a super common tactic, and I am threatening this as well. But our opponent has hung the piece, because the idea is that the bishop actually pins the pawn. So, queen captures g6 is on the board. And all I need to do here is not blunder the remainder of the game. I might play queen to d6 next. And that's also a very nice move, attacking the bishop. I could play bishop captures f7 as a desperado. And I think I'm going to do just that. Bishop captures f7 check. If queen captures, so rook captures f7 is on the board. I believe that I have e6. And if d takes e, I have rook takes, rook, queen captures, and knight in to win the exchange. So let's go ahead, let's push through with e6. The rook can obviously move, but that creates some issues right here. And my queen is not currently under attack. I suppose there's rook to f6 ideas. But if I play takes, the queen's under attack. Queen captures rook. Rook captures rook. If rook captures, I have rook check. If I play here and rook captures, I have rook captures queen. If rook captures here, I have this check. But this knight gets very, very loose. So I think in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and play queen back to d3. I'm almost forced to take back. Rook to g6 is a little scary, but not too bad. And I believe I have queen to d5, where it's a even-ish endgame. I would argue that white is slightly better because our pieces are more active, but I'm not entirely convinced. Now here, if I were to play queen captures, that doesn't work. So I'm going to play rook captures e6. We have pawn recaptures. I'm going to go queen to d6. Trying to get this. Rook over is an idea. But really just trying not to lose it on time. Because we are down once again 3 minutes on the clock with only 3 minutes to go. The position's potentially better for our opponent, but I don't think it's the easiest thing to prove. Scary stuff. Scary, scary stuff. And we'll see what our opponent wants to do. Is trading into the rook endgame does make it drawish. We may just have to speed up. I mean, my next plans is really just to activate my king, probably somewhere in the E and D file. I think I'll be able to get to these queenside pawns faster than my opponent can. Now, the biggest concern really is my opponent can very quickly pivot with rook to f8 and go after my weaknesses. So queen comes to h4, which looks like it just hangs the c5 pawn. I'm now threatening the b5 pawn and the a7 pawn. Obviously, they can offer a queen trade with queen to g5, which is somewhat forced. Here, if I play rook to d3, rook takes, queen here, I lose the material. So I think as scary as it is, I might have to step up. Alternatively, I can both cover the file and the check by playing queen to e3 and threatening queen captures e6. We're down to 2 minutes. Rook to d4 might have to be an idea here. But we are up a pawn in a heavy piece endgame. And sometimes a pawn is all it takes. This is probably my next idea. Queen comes into h3, double attacks here. I'm going to go rook to d6, threatening to take here and trade everything off. Now our opponent declines. So let's go rook to d8 check. King comes up. I have queen to e4 check. The counter check comes in. And have I lost the game right there? Oh my gosh, that's so disappointing. All right, so I'm going to go rook here. Yeah, I kind of don't really have much of a choice in giving up that pawn. And this might be the single most disappointing way I've lost a game on the series. Guess rook to a3. And yeah, I just can't do anything, guys. Rook to f3 if they're going to run away. Suppose rook to b3, rook takes a2, rook takes b5. I'm just going to go king g3. And they're not even really creating any threats. I think rather they're just showing that they don't have to do anything. King to e3. I mean, eventually they'll do something, yeah? If I go back, I'm running into mating issues, so I'm going to go f3. Beautiful. I'm going to go here, and I blundered mate in 1. And let's go ahead, let's look at the game review, and let's see how we did, because that one was incredibly disappointing. I can't believe I just let that happen. So we played with the 68.8, and our opponent played with the 73.8. E4, E5, and we got a Vienna game where we've had this position a few times, and we did identify knight to E7 is not the correct way to play. Now, after knight to F3, knight G6, castles H6, and bishop E3, we do lose the entire advantage. The way it wanted us to carry on here is, I'm assuming, probably an immediate D4. Yeah, D4 is one of the top moves. Knight to G5 in the system of the, or in the thoughts of like a fried liver system, is also one of the best ideas here, where D5 is forced. We have moves like knight captures D5 to keep the advantage. You know, bishop to E6 comes in. Probably knight captures F6 is completely fine. And after queen captures, we can just go ahead, reduce this position down, and be completely fine. Now, we didn't find that. Instead, like I said, we lost the whole advantage by just developing a little bit slowly. After C6, we did finally push D4. And in this position, after E5 and queen to D3, we managed to regain our advantage. I don't understand what the best move was here, because I thought knight D5 was fairly strong. Apparently, queen to E4, which simultaneously, you know, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know what it does. Queen E4 does something, apparently. Knight G4, knight to D5, knight captures E3, queen captures E3, and castles. So here, developed my pieces. Thought I was doing a little better after knight captures E7, queen captures E7, queen to D3, where there's a threat on this pawn, and there's a threat on the knight. After our opponent plays rook a to d8, we do take the knight, and bishop b5 comes in. So what I did was I sacrificed the bishop, understanding that if I just go back, the bishop is going to get trapped, and then I'll have, or if I go here, this is coming on the board, and my bishop is stuck, and my queen will die. Now, after rook captures f7, I played e6, which was the incorrect way to play the position. What I probably had to do here was play a move. I was also looking at like maybe queen to d6 to try and solidify our advantage by trading queens. But after rook to f6, I missed the idea. I was looking at the move e captures d7, which was the correct way to play, open up this attack, but I panicked a little bit and I thought I'd miscalculated. So instead, queen to d3, bishop captures f3, g captures, rook captures e6, and I played queen to d5, pinning the rook. After rook e8, rook captures e6, d captures e6, and queen to d6, trying to trade into an endgame. After queen h4, queen captures c5, rook f8, queen to e3, queen h3. In rook to d6, I thought we were doing completely fine. But I missed that after rook f6, rook d8 check, in king to h7. Queen to e4 fails because this is a counter check. I can't go to h8 because it's mate in 1. So I kind of am forced to give up the queen, and our opponent converts, so, you know, good for them. I'm a little frustrated with how that one turned out, but that's chess for you. So on that note, if you guys enjoyed the content, come find me over on twitch.tv/TristanBrown17, where I also stream chess and Settlers of Catan content. And on that note, I will see you guys on the next day.